Hey, welcome back to Hope in Crisis.
Definitely.
We are about to record our second episode. Really happy to be in this new setting. And you know what? We're going to talk about healthcare today. And first of all, we're going to talk about the healthcare crisis. So I'm not sure if you know that recently a lot of people are recovering from COVID-19. But after their recovery, they're receiving hospital bills. And then the amount is really shocking. It's actually heart-stopping. I think if I were one of them, I probably wouldn't want to recover from COVID-19.
That's dark.
Okay, so the story goes like a 70-year-old American man who nearly died of COVID-19 has been billed a heart-stopping US dollar $1.1 million for his hospital expenses. And fortunately for him, that is covered by Medicare. So it's actually waived. He doesn't need to pay so much. But the government is.
Well, the taxpayers do.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, somebody gets the 1.1 million.
Right. If you're not insured, if you recently lose your job and then you're tested positive.
Yeah, that's brutal. Because, I mean, recently, I think there are 40 million Americans that lost their job. Like, it's crazy. These numbers are just like, I saw a graph that showed the unemployment numbers from the different recessions starting back from the Great Depression, and it was like this big, and then this big, and then this big, and then they had to like zoom everything up for like 5 minutes, zoom, 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 and then finally you get to now.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
It's crazy, right?
It's very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine you're losing your job, losing your income, and then now losing your insurance, and now you won't be able to afford your health.
Yeah. And the people that are at the most risk are the people that need to work. So they were deemed like essential work. So essential workers can go back to work. The people that deliver our food, deliver packages, and then the people that make most of the money, the investors, well, that's not essential work, so they can stay home.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's this.
They can stay in the safe zone.
They can be safe. Yeah. Yeah, whereas everybody else is out running around. And then the same people that if they do lose their job, they lose their health care.
And probably their life.
Yeah, you can lose your life. Yeah.
So how serious is the problem with hospital bills being so overpriced?
It's difficult because it's so non-transparent.
Right.
So I'll let you speak to Taiwan, but in the U.S., there's not a single payer. There's many, many, many different payers. And so you never really know what the incentives are. You never really know what the costs of anything are. And so you hear stories like far too often, like even Indiegogo, you see people that are like, hey, I need to do like a crowdsourcing campaign so I can pay for my something, like pay for my cancer. It's like...
I think there's a website called FundMe.
Yes.
And then a lot of people go there
Yes.
after recovering from an accident or a surgery.
Yeah.
I remember that when I was in San Francisco, and every time when I needed to see a doctor, I need to bring all of my credit cards because I wasn't sure how much I would be charged.
Yeah.
And then I told every one of them that I am insured by a Taiwanese company.
Okay.
I don't have local United States insurance, but I do have insurance.
Did they charge you a lot more because they knew you're...
Right. That's really funny because, no.
Okay.
If you go to an American hospital and say that you want to pay in cash, the price is negotiable.
Yeah.
And that's my case because they couldn't find an insurance company to bill. So they charged me and let me bring the invoices and bills back to my insurance companies in Taiwan and ask for claims.
So what was the savings? Like, did you ever know like how much the real price was and how much they charged you?
Like 20% of what an ordinary American would pay.
Yeah.
So that's really weird because you're supposed to be insured and then given a discounted price because insurance companies already negotiated with hospitals on a good deal or a good.
That's the myth. I think like the insurance companies and the hospitals, because so insurance companies are for profit.
Right.
Hospitals, a lot of them in the U.S. are also for profit. And so if you have no ability to know the price, then you have two for-profit people negotiating on your behalf.
Against you.
Yeah. Like they're not going to try to get a better deal for you.
I was going to say there's nothing wrong with hospitals being for-profit.
Agreed.
Right. But
you have to know how much profit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, but there's something wrong with consumerism or capitalism. So the fact that they're for-profit and they are trying to maximize their revenues and profits, supposedly they're making money, so they're investing in new technologies and recruitment, so they will hire good doctors to treat you.
Yeah. I think to some extent, that part of it is true. So if you want to find some of the more advanced machinery, the more advanced medical practices, probably the U.S. is maybe the best.
Private hospitals,
Yes.
private clinics.
But the problem with it is that medicine is not like a consumer good, right? In that, like if you give me the choice between, hey, do I want to buy like an iPhone with 10 gigabyte or an iPhone with 100 gigabyte? Okay, I mean, there's pros and cons of each. Do I want to spend my money or not?
Right.
If you say, hey, do you want to allow your kid to live or allow your kid to die? I mean, it's like there's
That's
no...
dark.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like I'm just saying it to, for effect in the extremes, but you're not actually pricing something that's a commodity. These are humans. These are people that we care about. And so for starters, like it's not something that it's easy to put a price tag on. And then they've also hidden all the prices. So it's like the way that I like to think of the U.S. healthcare system is it's the worst of capitalism combined with the worst of socialism.
Was there any part socialist?
That's what Medicare and Obamacare and all of this stuff was trying to do. It was saying, look, we're going to make everybody have this.
Okay.
So even, I think they went from 40 million to 20 million. Now they're down to about 10 million that are still uninsured. So it's not perfect. It's nowhere near.
They're work in progress.
They're work in progress. But they force everybody to be insured, yet they don't force any transparency into the pricing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you have the socialism, which is everybody should get it. And you have the capitalism perverted because, well, nobody gets... I mean, capitalism is about using price to allocate resources.
Right.
That's what markets do, right? And so if you can't see the price, and in most towns, there's like maybe one hospital or one big chain that owns all of the hospitals and all of the clinics. It's crazy.
I think there's a pattern here because I'm not sure, but I think that in the United States, usually the government, the federal government has a policy but doesn't set standards. And then it's allowing local governments or private sectors to set their standards. For example, I know that in the United States, if you're a COVID-19 patient, if you're a confirmed COVID-19 patient, then your medical bills can be waived. But each hospital can decide how to define a confirmed case. So actually, a lot of patients still don't know if their bills can be waived or not.
Yeah, see, that would just be like oppressive. I mean, if you had this huge bill, you lost your job, maybe you got really sick, you almost died, and then now you have this huge bill over your head for who knows how long.
So if the virus doesn't kill you, the death will.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about choices. Do you
Yes.
want to keep your kids alive or the other way?
Yeah.
I came across a news story about a mom who had a premature delivery. She delivered her twins when she was 24 weeks pregnant.
Whoa.
So that was like super early. And then her twins needed to stay in the newborn ICU
Yes.
till they're like fully grown.
Yeah.
And then they needed to pay $10,000 a night for one.
Oh my gosh.
So that would be $20,000 a night for the twins. And then they were insured. So at first they thought it's okay. Actually, it was their decision to keep the babies alive.
Yeah.
And they made the decision on the based on the assumption that they're insured, but the cap is $2 million. So they can easily run out of that with 50 days of stay?
Yeah.
But the babies needed to stay more than 100 days.
Oh.
Right. So when they left the hospitals, she couldn't afford any medicine. So at 24 weeks, I don't think they're called babies. They're fetus.
Yeah.
Right. So they haven't developed their lungs and the respiratory systems. Yeah. So her kids grew up with very poor respiratory systems. They have a lot of conditions. So at one point, she couldn't afford asthma medicine. And then she stopped giving them the medicine. And then one of them was rushed to ER. So 2 years later, when the babies were 2.5 years old, they filed for bankruptcy.
The parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're 11 years old. So
they made it?
Yes. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. But this lady suffered from depression for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then she said that she lost her job, her house, her car, and her ego.
Huh.
So, and then she said that when she was suffering from depression, she constantly asked herself it's the right decision to give birth to the twins. So I think the entire system is asking you to put a price tag on health or life.
Yeah, that's what's tricky about it, is that putting a price on something is what a capitalist does. Yet taking care of somebody is what socialism is supposed to do. And so we're just in this horrible state. I think if the U.S. could be more socialist or more capitalist when it came to healthcare, it could be much better. I mean, you look at Europe and there's all sorts of different systems.
How can the system be better if it's more capitalist?
You have price transparency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you actually allow people to understand what things cost. And you hold everybody accountable for providing, and this might sound bad, but you provide some accountability for not over-medicating people.
Oh, that's something we can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would take another hour.
It will take, yes. I think everybody has these stories. I mean,
Yeah.
So you could move in the capitalistic direction, which would be interesting, of course, where you would let people know how much this stuff really cost. You would sort of separate your health policy, your health insurance from your employer. Like, that's weird. So like in the U.S., if you lose your job, for the longest time, you would lose your health care.
Right.
Which is really scary because people don't want to change jobs because maybe their healthcare costs go up so high they can't afford it. So you get people just locked into a job they don't like either.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. My brother is self-employed, and I think he told me he has to spend around $2,000 to $3,000 per person just to get healthcare coverage, which he has to have. And then when he uses it, the deductible is $5,000 US.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So with $2,000 to $3,000, you're actually giving away a full-time job salary.
Yeah. I mean, you'd much rather have that go. I mean, he's self-employed. He has about 15 people on his team. And I mean, you'd much rather say, hey, I want to go hire somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, why is it that in a country as wealthy as America, I think it's 18.5% now, the GDP, 18.5% is used for healthcare.
Right.
Taiwan is 6.
Taiwan is 6, yes.
Yeah. Taiwan's probably too cheap. America is way too expensive. Yeah.
We need to create another episode on over-medicating and why Taiwan is so cheap when we talk about hospital bills or medical bills.
Yeah.
Because I think that Taiwan is often blamed for over-medicating everyone.
Yeah.
We're so used to going to the doctors when we have a cold.
Well, it's too easy. Yeah. It would be like if you didn't actually have to exercise to get a good body, to get in shape, to be healthy, you could just like take a drug and then you're fine. A lot of people would choose to do that. And I think that like
some elixir to help you stay healthy.
Right? Right? And so, yeah. The insurance side in the U.S. is still really interesting. So my wife, when she was pregnant, we were going to have our kid. We, in the beginning, I went to the doctor and I said, "Look, I just want to pay cash because we're no longer. So I'm no longer a California resident, and so I don't believe in insurance, which we can go into some other time. Like I hate insurance. I think it's just a tax on the poor people, and." So I went to the hospital right away and I said, look, I want to do everything in cash. I want you to give me the best deal possible. And the price, not to rub it in, you got 20% discount. Like I think we got about 20,000% discount.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, sorry, 2,000% discount. It's completely nuts. Wait, 10x would be more. Yeah. So I was right. So it'd be 10,000% discount. So it gives you a sense of, so the pregnancy would have been like $35,000 typically.
The test?
No, just the whole thing, like from the visits to the delivery, like all of that stuff, it would have been around $35,000. And I said, okay, what if we paid upfront in cash right away? And they said, I think the whole thing came to like $5,000, a little more than $5,000.
Wow, that was a business deal.
Well, but they're a for-profit company, so they're not losing money.
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you look at that, you're like, wait a second, how is that possible? Like, that was the most sort of shocking thing to me. So that means, I mean, I was already very skeptical of insurance. Like, are they really getting me a good deal? Like, when you really need it, is it there? Because like in America, we have to get auto insurance. And every time you get a little nick on your car and you want to get it fixed, you go get it fixed, and then the insurance premium goes up. Goes up more money. So then you start realizing that, hey, this is not even worth it. I might as well just pay it myself.
Right. Yeah. But I don't think that's the case in Taiwan. I think we pay a premium and it's set before you buy the insurance policy.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go up.
It can't go up. Like, what if you use it? Does it go up or no?
Not in my experience. I use it a lot. I am not very healthy. Okay, I am over-medicated. Okay. Let's put it this way.
You should start getting rid of medication.
Right. So I use it a lot, but it doesn't go up.
Well, yeah.
That leads to a different topic.
Okay.
Insurance companies make money not from your claims or not giving you claims. They make money from investments. So they're taking your money and then building up a fund. Right. So most insurance companies in Taiwan or in Asia double as hedge fund.
Yeah. So Warren Buffett, the very famous investor, like his big move, his big insight was to start buying up insurance companies. And the reason is that they have these huge pools of cash. It's like a bank. It's like better than a bank because a bank at least has to loan the money out. The insurance company can just gamble with the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
so you think that they're also contributing to the lack of transparency?
Absolutely. And they're contributing to raising prices. They're contributing to the fear that you need insurance in the first place. Yeah. So
I watched a TED Talk.
Okay.
The speaker was Jean Pinder.
Okay.
She was talking about what if hospital bills can become transparent. So she was a New York Times journalist for a very long time, and she covered a lot of stories like the one we talked about. And then she realized that most people cannot predict or expect how much to pay after a before a hospital visit.
Yeah.
So she set up a website. It's called Compare Prices.
Yeah.
And then
I've heard of that.
she's allowing everyone to share their bills or statement. And then people find stark differences.
Oh,
Like two hospitals giving the same test. And then they're just a block away from each other. But the price range can be really, really
Yes.
different and surprising. So a lot of people are using data on her website to negotiate with their hospitals. And they actually save their bills. I mean, they actually save their spending on the bills.
Yeah, I've heard that so my mom, when my grandma got sick, my mom was negotiating for better rates. And my dad would always make fun of her, like, the insurance company's paying. Why do you care? Why do you want to save them money? Right? But I agree with my mom. I mean, any place you can save money
You should.
in the system, you got to, right? And so she would try to talk with the insurance companies without data, and you would get nowhere. So, like, without this pricing information, you need proof. And the moment you start pushing on them with the proof is the moment that they cave, like, just like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this goes back to this weird, people think of healthcare as socialist. Insurance companies think about it as a big, huge pool of money they can just suck people from and, use it for whatever they want to use it for. Yeah.
Do you think anyone from the insurance industry will leave a comment and say you're wrong?
I hope so. Like, I mean, I really wish I was wrong on this one.
We are open for debate.
Yeah. Like, I wish I was wrong on this one. But if you look and you say, okay, what's the role of insurance? The role of insurance is to do risk management, to help people. I mean, at least the sales pitch is, hey, one day you're going to get hurt. Why don't you pay a little bit of money? And then when you do get hurt, we'll be there for you. So like Prudential, they have the rock, or I forgot the other guys, they have the umbrella. It's like they have all these metaphors that are like, we're going to take care of you.
Right.
Okay. Some of the richest companies in the world are insurance companies. And if you look at the financial crisis, when it really crumbled the worst, at the top of it was AIG. And so I think of myself like, like, are you like who are you taking care of here? Like if they're making 2%, 3%, like hospitals don't make much money, right? Like the margins of hospitals are incredibly low, right? But these insurance companies, I mean, what are they doing? Like their margins are off the charts, crazy, insane. Like there's a reason you look around Taiwan, New York, these different places, and the biggest buildings are either banks or insurance companies. And insurance companies are more profitable in many ways than banks. Yeah, I don't think it's fair. I really don't. Because again, they're selling you fear, and they're packaging fear such that you're guaranteed to lose over the course of your lifetime.
I agree that they're selling you fear, and I also think that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
That's why I like the website so much, the website that compare prices. And I think that we should encourage people to start something grassroots like this.
Would you, like, let's say there was a community insurance pool, and you felt that, like, this insurance pool could cover you, like, up to a certain level. You had to pay each month. I mean, would you be open to that kind of thing? Is that interesting to you?
That's Taiwan's national health insurance.
That's
I would.
very true.
Yeah. I would.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
I would, on the condition.
Okay.
It's my wishful thinking, but on the condition that people don't waste resources.
Okay, we'll go back to a second. So you said that you buy insurance.
Yes.
And your Taiwan, this
Public,
right?
yes.
This public insurance fund, right? How come you need both?
Oh, because I travel a lot.
Okay.
And then I needed to make sure that if I leave Taiwan and I get hurt or get sick, I can still be covered.
Okay.
I didn't know that if you, I didn't know that your hospital bills from other countries can be covered
Okay.
too by Taiwan's 全民健保.
Let me guess, the insurance didn't tell you, right?
No.
They told you if you leave the country, what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you leave the country, and especially if you go to the United States,
Yeah.
then you will have no idea how much you're going to pay for your sickness, and then you can come back in debt.
Yeah.
So that was the fear I was sold to.
I bet that if the insurance keeps up in Taiwan, that you could sort of track the performance of the overall healthcare system and the amount of insurance players coming in. And the more that come in, the worse the national healthcare comes.
But I have to say that although I have public insurance,
Okay.
I still have private commercial insurance.
Okay.
And that is because with public insurance, the coverage is not good enough.
Okay.
When my baby was sick,
Okay.
when he was 6 months old, with something very similar to pneumonia, he needed to stay in the hospital for 6 nights.
Okay.
And then at first we got a double room,
Okay.
which is covered by the public health insurance.
Okay.
But there was no way we could take any rest in that room with 2 sick babies who didn't know each other, and then 2 sets of parents. I'm not annoying.
Yeah.
Disturbing. That
They call this
came
a
from
Freudian
nowhere.
slip. No, they were definitely annoying. You know it.
Usually my filter works. And then we had different nurses. They came at different hours to check our temperature or blood pressure, and then the baby next to us needed milk, or anyways, there's no way you could have good sleep and then recover well. So we had to upgrade to a single room. And then it was 8,000 NT dollars a night.
Per night.
Yeah. How much is that in US dollars?
Like a nice hotel room.
Oh,
Roughly.
Better than I can.
Like the Grand Hyatt maybe is around
Right.
10,000 per night, something?
Yeah,
Maybe
something like
more.
that.
Yeah, expensive,
Right.
yeah.
So it was $8,000 a night, and then
Yeah.
he had to stay for 6 nights. So that would be almost
expensive.
$50,000. So,
Okay,
but
but how much did you pay in your insurance? Like how much do you pay per year with insurance?
30.
30,000
Right.
each year.
Yeah, my premium.
Okay. But like it was just 50,000. Like you would have had to pay 50,000.
If I don't have insurance.
Okay.
To get a single room.
Do you think it's better off? Like if you look back on the math, like do you feel like okay, it was worthwhile getting the insurance?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you like what if more people knew that Taiwan's national insurance wasn't actually covering exactly what the people needed? Like, do you think it could change? Like, could there be grassroots support to fix that?
I'm not sure. Because if you go to places, countries like Canada or the UK, where they have universal coverage, they make sure that everyone gets to see the doctor.
Okay.
Maybe free of charge. But sometimes you have to wait for 4 weeks or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So it gives you universal coverage, but it doesn't give you the best treatment. I think that's a trade-off because you have a limited amount of resource. There's no way that you can give everyone the best treatment free of charge.
Well, maybe we can find a way to do insurance like at a community level. So the margins were, 2%, 3%. And everybody could, like before big insurance came into being, farmers, fishermen, they would sort of get together and like insure each other. And maybe we can get back to that kind of model. Like I don't really, I guess I would say I don't have a problem at all with risk management. Everybody should do that. A business does it. A person should do that. I just have a problem with somebody selling you a product which is based on fear and their margin is so crazy high when you really don't have much choice. Like you get people to think, okay, I just have to buy insurance. But do you really have to buy insurance? Like, is there an alternative model we can try to come up with so that you don't need these big companies making all that money?
I'm not sure of that, but I think there's an alternative definition for healthcare that we can think of. Because insurance companies are selling you fear, right? And what are we afraid of? Getting sick.
True.
What if we redefine healthcare? And then the goal for the government or hospitals is to keep you healthy. So it's not a place for you to go to when you're sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing.
We can come back to that later. We'll talk about sick care and healthcare.